What's good, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome to my Money in the Bank 2020 predictions video. That show happening Sunday night. I am recording this video on Saturday morning, and there are currently 5 matches announced. 6 winners, but 5 matches. So let me know who you think is going to win down in the comments below, and I'll get to these 5 matches happening on this card, beginning with your SmackDown Tag Team titles. That is your 8-time champions, The New Day, taking on Miz and Morrison, hey hey, ho ho, and the Lucha House Party, Lucha, and the Forgotten Sons in a fatal 4-way type business. And unless they want to get The New Day to a 10-time title reign, I don't see any reason for The New Day to lose in this match. If they did, then maybe you hotshot it to Forgotten Sons, who just debuted, to give them a nice, impactful debut. But otherwise, I don't see any reason for The New Day to lose here, again, unless they want to get them to 10 times in the very near future. Now then, your SmackDown Women's Champion, Bayley, with Sasha Banks in her corner, is taking on Tamina. Ain't nobody Mina. And this is, I think, maybe the first title shot for Tamina in a singles thing ever, I think. I could be wrong on that. But regardless, I think Bayley continues to be your SmackDown Women's Champion. And yeah, they could give it to Tamina as kind of a, hey man, you've been here for like a long time, so why not get your one title run in here? Like, that could happen. And honestly, Sasha Banks could be the reason for that happening. But if you're gonna eventually get to Sasha and Bayley, which they've been teasing for a long time now, then you would want to have the title on the line for that. So having it go to Tamina while those two fight, yeah, you could do that, but I think it's more meaningful if the belt is involved in that, because why else would you have that feud, and why else would they be fighting besides wanting to be the SmackDown Women's Champion? So I think Bayley retains here, probably with the help of one Sasha Banks. But if she loses, it's going to be because of Sasha Banks. Now then, we have your Universal Champion, the monster among men, Braun Strowman, taking on Bray Wyatt. And to be clear, he's taking on Bray Wyatt. We have seen neither hide nor hair of the Fiend. So much like when The Miz took on regular Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman taking on regular Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt. And that is like, yes, we've had the mystique of The Fiend smashed by Goldberg, and The Fiend lost to Goldberg, but in kayfabe, regular Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt is much weaker than The Fiend, and therefore that's an easy retain here for Braun Strowman. And perhaps down the line, we're going to have Braun and The Fiend, but as of right now, I don't see any way for regular Bray Wyatt in his sweater to beat Braun Strowman, your Universal Champion. I just don't see that happening. And perhaps that furthers the story as we head towards the next pay-per-view or whatever, because I don't know who else is going to challenge Braun on SmackDown, and we'll get to that discussion here in a second with the actual Money in the Bank winners or potential winners and such. But yes, Braun retains that title. And over on Raw, your WWE Champion, the Scottish Psychopath Drew McIntyre, is defending against the Monday Night Messiah, Seth freaking Rollins. And this, if you're going to book Drew properly, even without a crowd, if you're going to book Drew properly, you're going to have him retain against a couple of contenders, Seth, Jinder, perhaps Andrade again, I don't know, but you're going to have that in a couple guys in a row before he actually gets into a serious, oh my god, he could lose it type scenario. So I see Seth as helping to solidify his reign as a dominant champion, as the new guy on Monday Night Raw, perhaps only losing it when Brock decides to come back when there are crowds again, maybe in Saudi, who knows. But even with the potential interference from Murphy, I still see Drew retaining that WWE title on the show. Now, obviously, it's Money in the Bank. So we have to get into who's going to be Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank in the most unique Money in the Bank in WWE history. They're going to the corporate headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. They're starting on the ground floor, they're going to the roof, and both matches are happening at the same freaking time. So it's one match, and I'm assuming it'll be at least 45 minutes to an hour, because that's a lot to include for 12 people in one match. It's going to be bonkers, right? But your men's side includes Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, the phenomenal AJ Styles, King Corbin, Otis, I'm coming, and Aleister Black, while the women's side includes Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Carmella, Asuka, Dana Brooke for some reason, and Lacey Evans. So those are your 12 competitors competing at the same time in this weirdly unique Money in the Bank matchup. Now you have to start asking yourself, alright, well, when you consider your current champions, right? If we assume that both Braun and Drew retain their titles on the men's side, then who would be the most logical person to eventually get that briefcase and hold it until hopefully the crowds come back, because cashing in Money in the Bank without a crowd is just, like, that's half the purpose, is that crowd pop, and not getting that just sucks. So when you think of it on who's going to cash in on either Braun or Drew, I think Daniel Bryan, not going to happen. Rey Mysterio, not going to happen. AJ Styles, potentially. King Corbin, no. Please no. Otis is not really a singles guy. Like, obviously he's had this push with Mandy Rose, and he is hilarious and phenomenal, but in terms of a top-tier main event singles wrestler for Otis, I'm just not seeing it at this point in his career. And Aleister Black, I think, should be the favorite for Money in the Bank as someone who can and should challenge on a main event level to either Drew or Braun. And who he picks, well, we shall see. Keep that a mystery, please, right? But I think if anybody is going to end up getting thrown off the roof and ruining their chances, it would be AJ Styles. That should be his gimmick, right? He got buried alive and came back. Thrown off a roof and came back. He is the unkillable AJ Styles. That would be great. Do that. For my Money in the Bank, the odds-on favorite is Aleister Black to be an eventual contender with that briefcase. Honestly, I thought they should have had Murphy in this match and have him with the briefcase and Seth, and that would have been great, but they didn't do that, so here we are, here we go. Now, that does say, well, Aleister's a face, and Drew's a face, and Braun's a face, and with face champions, you should want a heel winning that match, but look, again, we might not see a cash-in until crowds come back. You could hold that briefcase for a year. So by the time they cash it in, there could be a heel champion on Raw or SmackDown. We don't know. Anyhow, the other side, happening at the same time, is going to be Miss Money in the Bank. And I would say that Dana Brooke, not happening. Look, I like Dana Brooke. She has improved a great deal, but I just don't see Dana Brooke as Women's World Champion. Lacey Evans has had plenty of shots, and she's failed them all. Against Becky, against Bayley, she's not gotten it done in any environment, and perhaps with the briefcase she could, but I just don't see it happening. Asuka is always a contender. In any field, in any time, Asuka could always get it done. Perhaps here, not so much. Carmella, they've been pushing, so that is a possibility. She has been SmackDown Women's Champion before, but I feel like this match is going to come down to Nia Jax or Shayna Baszler. And I'm leaning towards Nia Jax with that briefcase, and we're going to have the built-in feud. If we assume that whoever wins here is going to be on the Raw side because Becky Lynch on Monday is going to confront the winner of Money in the Bank, and you have the history with Nia and Becky. It's not good history, but there is a story to tell there, so that to me makes the most sense. The returning Nia Jax wins Money in the Bank, and then teases a cash-in on either Becky or Bayley, or both. I don't know. But I'm saying Aleister Black, Nia Jax are your winners in this matchup at Money in the Bank. And there you go. A weird show. They might announce more matches between 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning and 8 p.m. on a Sunday night. I don't know. I can only tell you what I've seen so far. I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. More videos on this channel. See you next time right here. And I'm out.